Oh viewers, I've broken the rules yet again. Here I am on the edge of a New Forest, invited to come and review a Toyota Yaris Mark 1, and the owner told me that he had a 2023 Skoda Karoq 1.5 TSI Sportline, and I couldn't say no. Welcome to Contingency Reviews. So the Skoda Karoq is a car that we've already featured actually on the channel before. In fact, in December 2020, that was the Christmas special for Tweed Jacket Reviews. Since then, the car has been facelifted. That happened at the beginning of 2022, and there are quite a few differences between one of these and the pre-facelift model. One thing that's not changed is the engine lineup. Really, we've still got the same basic options. There is a 1 litre 3-cylinder TSI engine, a 1.5 4-cylinder TSI engine, and a 2 litre TSI engine. Now the power outputs have changed a little bit, mainly on the 1 litre actually. I think the other two are the same, but the 1 litre has changed from 113 horsepower to 108 horsepower. I think that actually changed before the facelift, changed in 2020. The other two engines, this 148 horsepower 1.5 and the 187 horsepower 2 litre, are pretty much the same. They might have been tweaked slightly for Euro 6D emissions regulations that came in force, I think, around 2020. One thing they have fixed actually, which was a big problem on some of these earlier 1.5s with the manual gearbox like this one, is the hesitancy when trying to accelerate away from junctions and things. This one feels just fine. One thing that I must point out on this car, you might have seen in the thumbnail, this car looks like it's wearing the wrong wheels, because it is. This car should have 19-inch wheels on it, but Tony, who owns this car, and I both agree that you don't really need 19-inch alloy wheels on a car like this. It's mainly for the looks. The Speedo, I think, is slightly out because you've got 17-inch wheels on this, but actually off a Skoda Yeti, so you probably have the wrong logo on them and things, but it means the ride is an awful lot better than it otherwise would be. The steering is very light. It's okay, I suppose, electric system and everything like that, so it's not necessarily the most feelsome I've ever come across, but yeah, it feels fine. One thing that's really strange, in addition to actually getting rid of some of the trim levels with the facelift, they've also reduced the engine and gearbox options, so you've only got the 1.5 and 2 litres available with an automatic gearbox. Actually, 2 litres only available with an automatic gearbox and 4-wheel drive. It's the only petrol 4-wheel drive Karoq you can buy. The 1 litre automatic's been dropped for reasons, I'm not quite sure why. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. We do talk about is the fact that the driving position is actually really good. It's a really comfortable car, this. I'm quite surprised actually. We have got some body lean, despite the fact the Sportline, I think, has different suspension from the others. On quite a few Karoqs, the edition that I drove in 2020 and this, there is actually a driving mode selector, which is here. I think actually it's to do with dynamic chassis control and things like that. We're in sport now. Has that firmed up the suspension? Oh gosh, it has, yeah. It's firmed up the suspension a little bit, and also steering has got an awful lot better. I like this mode selector, viewers. I didn't notice an awful lot of difference on the last Karoq that I drove with the mode selector. This one seems to have made quite a lot of difference. Let's go into eco mode. We've got to press, it's really annoying, you've got to press this button down here, and then you've got to press the screen. Let's see if it, oh yeah, you can actually just do it pressing the button. Now we're in eco mode and my dials have gone green. We had red dials before. My dials have now gone green, and the steering has got extremely light. I wonder why. It doesn't feel quite as responsive anymore either. I think if you wanted the full 148 horsepower, you'd be wanting to have it in the sport mode. Well, viewers, this deserted car park down at Karoq near Southampton is a bit more scenic than a lot of the places where we're filming contingency reviews. So the Sportline has a lot of black trim on it. Personally, I prefer the look of something like an SEL, which is the model that Tony, who owns this car, had before this one. As you can see, the wheels are a bit smaller than usual. Obviously it improves the ride and things like that. Some of you would want the 19-inch wheels on there, and well, you can if you want, but the ride is going to be a bit too firm for someone like me. I think, yeah, the redesign seems to be quite successful. The headlights and tail lights are a little bit different. It's not massively different. I mean, most of the kind of different look of the car really is things like the badging, which is different on the back of this one, and also just the fact we're looking at a Sportline here rather than a edition model. So we can open the boot using this button on the key fob. Electric boot like on the edition model we looked at. One big difference in this car is that we don't have the VariFlex seats in here, and from what Tony's been saying about the SEL he had before, the SEL is now the only trim that you can get the VariFlex seats on. They're not quite worth it. The standard boot capacity of this car is 521 litres, and I think it's the biggest boot in this sort of class. You're looking at things like the Vauxhall Grandland, the Seat Ateca, which is heavily based on this particular car, and others. This one is amongst the biggest. So one thing I really like about this particular car, we've got a nice sort of liner mat. You can put that the other way up as well. If you want to have sort of wet stuff, I mean, you might be coming down here in Karoq to wetsuits and do sailing and things, so that might be handy. Also, we've got a space of a spare wheel in here, which is fantastic. I'm very happy about that. I think that's an option, and that's really a theme with a lot of modern Skodas, unfortunately. But lots of things that you think should be standard are options. Like this car's got manual seats in it, and it's not got a leather interior, for example, and it's £35,000. This one was a bit less. This is a very early 2023, and it was bought, I think, a few months old actually, maybe sort of May or June this year. So it didn't quite pay that for it, but yeah, £35,000 plus this optional metallic paint seems like a lot of money to me for this car. 12-volt socket this side. We've got twin boot lights in this. No, we've only got one. It's an LED one, no. It's good you can fit sort of things down this side. You can move these hooks around and things like that if you want to, and tether things down. You can see all sorts of little things that Tony's got in here, and they all fit quite nicely actually. Let's use the electronic boot. There we go. We've got reversing camera and parking sensors. You are going to need those actually, because the rear visibility in this is just not the best I've ever come across. Do we have the trademark Skoda ice scraper and a fuel flap? Why, yes we do. Okay, let's get out of this wind. So nice big doors that open to almost 90 degrees. If you want to put child seats in and out of there, that's probably quite easy. Also, we've got Isofix in here. Again, I would prefer a leather interior to this, but there we go, never mind. Got to pay for that. And there's a manual seat adjustment. Again, some of you won't be bothered by that, but I just think it's a bit sort of cheap of Skoda not to fit that on a car that costs this much money. Also, what's cheap is these hard touch door tops and hard plastics in here. Now, they're perfectly good quality plastics, it's just they're hard. It just gives the sort of perception this car is cheap, even if the base model, the SE Drive, now starts at £28,000. This is 35 without a metallic paint. So yeah, not impressed with that really, viewers. What I'm impressed though, we've got a 12-volt socket in the back. It should really be like a USB port these days, but it's a 12-volt socket. And we've actually got climate control in a way, with heating, ventilation here and some vent, which is good. Got some mat pockets. These big chunky seats are quite comfortable. I don't know why you need rally seats in a car like this, but there we go. I've opened the blind a little way, which just helps when I'm driving, a little bit of a light in here, because we've got a dark headliner in here. I'm not a massive fan of dark headliners, really, viewers. So the standard seats in here don't go back and forth. They don't do anything fancy, but that's okay, because most people wouldn't use them. Apparently, taking them in and out of the car on a Varioflex one is really, really difficult, though, because they're really heavy. Ooh, 2 normal cup holders and a tiny one. And we've got a ski hatch, which is handy. I can actually operate this. Oh, it's a bit stiff. There we go, ski hatch. It's quite good. It's a very, very typical Skoda feature, that kind of thing. And we've actually got some very, very large door pockets at the back. Massive, aren't they? Absolutely huge. I just wish we had some kind of soft material or something in here, but we don't, because that's not what Skoda wants to give us for some reason. What we do have is just a cabin that looks very, very dark, so we're going to need these little LED lights here to brighten things up a bit. Particularly with these large seats in here, it does mean it's just a little bit dark in here, but you can open that roof a little bit more. In fact, why don't we go into the front and actually open that roof a bit? Ooh, that's exciting, viewers. Look at this. Yes. That's better, isn't it? That's as far back as it goes. Ideally, what I want to do is can I just have this glass bit on its own like this, closed, and not close the blind? Yes, that's better views, isn't it? Fantastic. Right, let me close the door and then we'll look at this enormous infotainment system. Okay, viewers, one really annoying thing about this car is trying to access things like the trip meter. It takes a degree in sort of electronic engineering, because, let's turn that fan down a second. It's this one, I think. Yes. So yeah, we've got the sort of digital dials in here now. We didn't have those, I don't think, before on all of the Karoq models. So you can have that kind of speedo, that kind of speedo, which actually, you know, makes rev counter more prominent. You can have that kind of speedo. So that's exciting, isn't it? And we can scroll through certain things. How do we... All I want to do is access the mileage that the car has. I'm going to have to work this out another way, aren't I? Yeah. Hold on a second, viewers. Gosh, that was complicated, viewers. It turned out all I had to do is turn the cruise control off, and then there's a mileage. 6,000 miles, right. Fantastic. Okay, good thing. We've got physical buttons here for the heating ventilation. They haven't got rid of this in the facelifted model, which is I can't tell you what a blessing that is compared with some of the cars I drive. It's very simple. Dual zone climate control, 3 knobs here. That's for the fan speed, heating. Got heated seats in this car on either side, and there's the actual temperature. Wonderful. Buttons down here. There's a locking button, auto start stop, hazard light switch, battery turning the parking sensors on and off. Brilliant. Down here, drive mode selector, automatic handbrake. I don't like automatic handbrakes, particularly in manual cars, but this one seems okay. And traction control on and off. Also down here, we've got this very nice kind of smooth compartment where you can find the 12-volt socket, and they're not actually USB ports, they're USB-C ports, which I find exceptionally irritating. As you can see, Tony's had to get an adapter to actually use this properly, which is you know, not the best, but there we go. It's what people do these days, particularly in the German manufacturers for some reason. Got an armrest. You can move this up and out of the way if you want. You can move it over there if you don't want it. We've got more sort of cup holders. You can take this out actually, and there's even more space down there, which is really good. I'll just put that back in there. There we go. Yeah, someone's thought quite well about this. Coin tray there. But I would just, you can slide this back and forth as well if you want. Put it up there. One thing that's really annoying is that in the older models, before the facelift, this was where the CD player and a memory card slot was. Obviously they got rid of the CD player because they don't consider people to be those who use them anymore in modern cars. I mean, I'd say it's debatable, but anyway. But they've taken that out and they've replaced it with nothing. So that means the glove box is really small, and which was taken up with this space. They haven't redesigned it, which is terrible. Absolutely terrible. That's good though. The compartment up there is really handy. It's really deep actually, and it feels really nice on top of it. Actually, this dash overall with the soft touch plastic that's on it is really, really nice. It's just a shame that if you look at the door, be quiet. Oh, I hate that sort of thing, guys. But if you look at the door, it's just like my old Seat Toledo Mark IV was. You've got the same sort of window switches. That's a different place, but we've got the same interior door pull and things like that. It's got a hard plastic on it, which is terrible. It doesn't feel like a £35,000 car at all. It hasn't even got felt down at the bottom for the door pocket, which is quite big. It's just, why on earth they can't fit some nicer materials in here? I have absolutely no idea. There's only soft touch on here, and this is hard as well. It's not very good. There's the sort of familiar Volkswagen Group headlight switch. Has been in about 1 million different cars, and the cruise control, yeah, rather than separate stalk, actually is on the indicator stalk, which is fine. You can find it. You just have to know where it is. Automatic wipers, I think, on this, as well as the automatic lights. The steering wheel's quite nice. You can see it says Sportline here. If I just rub that off, it's a bit shiny today, which is nice. We've actually got aluminium effect pedals down there as well. The whole centre console actually feels sort of alright, although that's hard as well. Nice comfy seats, I suppose. Let's see if I can fit my secret mission documents in this glove box. I don't think I can. I don't think it's going to work, but we'll try. Nope, absolutely, utterly hopeless. Never mind, viewers. Yeah, there's just too much kind of black going on in here. What I'm going to have to do is very briefly look at this sat-nav and things like that as well, because that's what I must do, because it's a modern car. Hold on a second, viewers. Oh, that's nice. It's a Sportline. Very nice. Okay, loading user profile. So this is a 9.2-inch screen. I think the SE drives get an 8-inch screen. The 8-inch screen, I think, was standard on the earlier cars. Unfortunately, because it's quite a bright day, you can see we've got loads and loads and loads of dust on this, which is a bit of a pain. There we go. Now, the controls on here are touch sensitive, but at least you've got separate controls either side. And some infotainment systems that I've seen a lot on other cars, they don't really sort of do this. So we'll just look through here. Do we have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay? USB, no. Source, right, let's have a look here. Right, oh gosh, all sorts of weird things on here. App, does that mean we can Android Auto, Apple CarPlay? Yeah, Apple CarPlay, iPhone, that kind of stuff. Mass storage, mirror link, yeah, it's all here. It's all here, which is excellent. Is it wireless, viewers? I don't know, actually. It might be. Somebody in the comment section below tell me. Then phone, yeah. No mobile voice detected. Car, what does that do? Oh, have a good journey. Thank you very much. Tire pressure monitoring, yes, vehicle status, all that sort of stuff. Right. One thing I haven't seen is the sort of safety system, things like that. Assistant, yeah, there's loads of them in this. All assistant systems. We've got tiredness recognition. We've got all sorts of emergency braking, I think, as well. You can see some of these are actually on this buttons here. We've got reversing camera as well, which I'll have to start the car to show you. We've got all kinds of things. What should I press this? What does it do? Front assist. There we go. Not just automatic braking. Front assist. Excellent. And then we've got tyre recognition. There we go. Active. Brilliant. There should be some more. You can get more functions than this. I'm surprised there's only showing 2 of them, actually. But, you know, we'd be here forever if we looked at everything, wouldn't we? Vehicle. No, it's not very exciting, is it? Try again. Looked at the assistants. Manuals in there, good. Shop, with me, we want to buy like more features because we haven't got enough already. I think that's it, viewers. I mean, we'll just show the nav quickly. I've stopped. I'll look at that because unfortunately the owner's address was actually in the sat nav, so I've edited that out. I should have thought about that, really, shouldn't I? Okay, let's turn all this stuff off and have a look under the bonnet. So there we go, the 1.5 4-cylinder TSI engine developing 148 horsepower. It looks like there's a lot more room in here than with the 2-litre engine. And actually, it's a bit more naked than I thought it would be. You can see a lot more of the kind of plugs and things like that on top of the engine. Mind you, it's not the most accessible thing. I mean, you can't even see the gearbox or anything like that. But yeah, I suppose this is the way that things are going. Mind you, the only thing you've really got to be aware of is that the 1 litre in particular is a wet timing belt engine, and they tend to wear a bit more quickly than a standard cam belt engine. Just make sure it's been changed if it needs to be done. Apart from that, this car's, well, within the 3-year warranty, so not much to worry about, I should think. Right, let's go for another drive, shall we? I quite like the big windows in this car. It's not as big as a Kodiaq, but it's nice. One thing that I do notice about this car, and it is really sort of pleasant, is just the fact that it's very friendly in terms of ease of use. It feels very comfortable and smooth. I mean, despite the fact we're in the Sportline trim, because the car has been fitted with these smaller wheels, I wouldn't say this is in any way racy. Maybe if you get the 2-litre engine, that does feel a bit more urgent. I think 0 to 60 in this car is about maybe 9 seconds, something like that. But I don't feel like I need to drive it really hard anyway to sort of exploit anything. It's really orientated far more towards comfort than anything else. But yeah, it's a very pleasant car. It's very easy to drive. Got all these assistance features in here that help us out if we do need it. One thing Tony did say to me when I drove it, he said, you will most certainly set the traction control off if you drive any more on the grass. So it's not really maybe the most useful thing kind of off-road. It'll just set a load of things off. You can get hill descent control on the 4x4 version. This doesn't have it because I don't think anybody is going to be going off-road in this particular type of Karoq at all. But yes, a very pleasant and easy car to drive, like a lot of the modern Skodas are. Whether this is your sort of thing, I don't know. But the fact that Tony's had 2 of these suggests to me that it is his, and that might be true for some of you as well. Let's now look at some Skoda Karoq trim levels, viewers. So before the facelift, there were SE, SE Nav Plus, SE Technology, Sportline, 2 words, Scout and Edition trim levels. The Scout one I think had a bit more sort of plastic cladding and things like that. At the moment, the only trim levels available are SE Drive, SEL and Sportline. You could get the SEL before the facelift, and possibly even the SE Drive. Sportline's now one word, for reasons I don't really understand. So viewers, should you consider this Skoda Karoq as a sensible, practical family car? Well, I don't see why not. I mean, it is quite specification dependent, this car, in terms of the look, and also, annoyingly, with all modern Skodas, a lot of the features are options, which is so terribly annoying. You can get quite a few safety features on this. With the travel assist pack, you can get predictive cruise control, adaptive lane assist. You can get up to 9 airbags in this facelifted one as well. Strangely, on the SEL trim, you can have an option to select recycled bottles as a material for your interior trim, which is nice. I prefer a beige leather interior, but then that's just me. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching this episode of Contingency Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more short notice and unexpected videos.